Hi everyone, here is the pasuk number 10 for what if everyone studies the same parsha. This is also an amazing verse. Last week we learned about Moses basically kind of understanding his own identity, and that identity causes him to view what he's always viewed in his life differently. And this week is really his actions. He moves from identity to kind of showing his connection to the people by taking action, by kind of viewing that his actions matter, by viewing that he's the only one that is kind of the ability to act. So Moses as upstander, yeah, a great quality that we will see later on, specifically when he goes into the breach to argue with God about destroying the people. We see the first inklings of that upstandership right here and right now, but it doesn't come in with complete 100% courage. There is some hesitancy here. There is some checking over his back. So let's get started. So the verse Vayifen ko v'ko, and he looked this way and that way, and he saw Vayar ki ein ish. There's no man around. Vayach, and he killed the Mitzri. Vayitzmenehu, and he buried him in the sand. So ask your students what they're looking at, and here are some questions that, right, of course, Moses buried the dead Egyptian in the sand. This is Egypt. What else would he be using to bury someone in? There's no need to mention sand at all, right? Wait a second, is Moses guilty here of murder? What does the Torah mean? There was no man. Aren't the Egyptian and the Israelite uh, man and the Israelites men? What is the Torah getting at when it says there was no man? Why do we care? Moses looking in both directions. What is Moses looking for? After all, couldn't the Torah just have said, and Moses saw no one was around? What does the Torah mean when it says, and Moshe saw there was no man? So we have that twice because it's answered twice as well. So here are some answers that we get. Rashi says, what does he do when he's doing this looking? He's really looking into the future and kind of looking if there's any redeeming people that might actually come from this Egyptian, and if there is, in some way, maybe he should think twice about killing this guy. Wait a second, is Moses guilty of murder? Well, the midrash that Rashi brings up here is kind of the looking is really like the investigating what this person did in kind of all aspects of his life, and he knew that actually this Egyptian was kind of a nasty guy. The reason he was hitting this Israelite is that he fell in love with this Israelite's wife. He surreptitiously came into her house and had a baby with him, although the wife thinks it's actually her husband's baby. So it was all under subterfuge. Husband finds out, and the Egyptian also finds out that the husband knows, and now that's why he's whipping him, hoping that this man will die, and then he can go and marry the Israelite. So in a sense, this guy has done enough wrong that he actually is guilty of murder. So Moses is just doing kind of what is should be happening to him. Um, but I think the most interesting is that the rabbis are sensitive to, like, oh, could it be that actually Moses is doing something wrong that should make us turn away from him? And they create the story to be able to say, no. We should actually be proud of Moses at this moment. What is the Torah? What does it mean? The Torah mean when it says there was no man? Aren't the Egyptian people man? And then kind of like there's a man, and then there's a man. There's a person, and then there's a person. There's a person who kind of sits there and doesn't fulfill the role of what it means to be a person, to kind of take a stand, to be an upstander, to kind of not be passive, but be actually active. Um, and that's why in Pirkei Avot, we have this kind of this great saying um, that should be in a place where there is no ish. You must try to be an ish. So really, this moment of, first of all, hesitancy, or Moses is looking kind of in the Hakatava Hagabalah. He's kind of looking and seeing, like, won't these Israelites stand up for themselves? Oh no, they won't. I have to in some way act. And those that really kind of moves to our nafkamina. Our entire nafkamina of this whole thing is that this is a moment. Whereas last week we saw that there was a identity through kind of what he saw and an empathy that was building. Here we see kind of action happening and a realization that if he does not act, no one will. So like kind of taking responsibility. And in some way, I would say kind of my nafkamina is this pasuk needs to come after last week's, and it's not the other way around. It isn't by acting we become identified with a group. It is actually the identity itself that makes us become kind of great actors towards the preservation and the kind of proliferation of the people that we're connected to. So best of luck teaching this.